Hello, everyone. This is Melinda Russell with the Women's Motorsports Network podcast. And my guest today is Kathy Anderson. Kathy is going to begin by sharing a little bit about herself with us. So, Kathy, welcome to the show. And tell us a
Thank
little
you.
bit about who is Kathy Anderson.
Huh. Um, Kathy Anderson is now I'm a race mom.
A race
I
mom.
am officially a race mom.
Okay.
Um, I even have a racer name at the indoor kart track called Race Mom.
That's a good name.
But I guess I'm official.
Yes, absolutely.
um, yeah, no, I'm actually, so my son who races, his name is Cal, obviously Cal. Um, he's my only biological son. I have a stepson who is actually today, he's a New Year's baby. He is 25 today. So
Wow.
he was
Okay.
born 2020 on New Year's, yeah.
That's
And he
cool.
is, obviously out of the house on his own,
Yeah.
doing very well out in Phoenix, Arizona. We're very proud of him.
And
But
then you
who?
have Cal, and how old is Cal?
Cal was 14 at the end of October.
Okay.
Um, and I I'm an old mom. I didn't have Cal till I didn't get married until I was 45,
Okay.
or 44, and then I had Cal like just after a few months after my 46th birthday. I must have been
Well, that's
out
okay.
of my mind, right?
Yeah. No, not at all.
But
Not at all.
yeah, but he
There's never
keeps
a
me
bad
young.
time. Oh, yeah,
Yeah,
for sure. You have to
he's
be
a
young to keep
blessing.
up with them for sure. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. And do you have any
And
pets?
in the racing, it is not easy to keep
No,
up.
it's not because it's
It's a
on the
tough gig.
go 24/7 almost.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
never I had no background in racing.
Okay.
I found it very interesting when I was in my 20s. The only thing I was really aware of back then this was rallycross, and I was
Hmm.
like, "Oh, that looks so fun! I'd love to do that."
Yeah.
But I never did.
Never did. Yeah. And so he's
Did I
14.
lose
How
you?
long has he been racing? How long have you been a race mom?
We just finished our third year. Yeah.
Okay. All
Yeah.
right. So you've got your feet wet at least, you've been around it a little bit. Um,
Yep.
yeah. So what kind of racing does he do?
Well, he started. So he started out in karts.
Uh-huh.
Um, we had a, we my husband and I have no background in racing. Like it was not even like on our radar, right?
Mhm.
And we have a very dear friend who grew up in Ohio and was over. We were having them over for Thanksgiving, and there was some kind of a race, and Cal was young. He was like 6, I think.
Mhm.
And I'm not sure what the race was. I don't recall what it was that was on TV, but Mike wanted to watch it. And so Cal was introduced to racing.
Okay.
And ever since then, he's been telling us, I'm going to be a race car driver when I grow up. And we
Yeah.
were like, uh-huh, yeah, right, buddy.
Yeah. I
And
know.
we had no idea. We had no idea what we were getting into either when we finally gave in and bought a cart, right?
Okay.
We went to our local racetrack, which is Poughkeepsie Speedway. We're in like the Hudson Valley area of New
All
York
right.
State,
Yeah.
a couple hours north of New York City.
Okay.
And we went to our local racetrack and just kind of, asked around. And we didn't do this until several years later. Cal was 10 by then. And he had just been bugging us, for 4 years. Like, I want to race. I want to race. I want to race. So we were, finally like, okay, well, let's go see, he's not giving up on this. It's not a phase, so let's
Right.
go see what this is about.
Sure.
So we went to the local racetrack. We asked around a lot, and there was a family there who had a son same age as Cal. And they let us get in their cart, or let him, get in the
Yeah.
cart and take it for, a drive around the track. And of course, it was all over after that, right?
Yeah.
So
So how did
we,
you feel about that, letting him get in that cart? Were you scared? Did you
you know what,
what were your thoughts and feelings?
I was a little scared. At the same time, um, I was excited, because I don't know, I had this excitement that he, because he did all the kid sports, and he was good at a couple of them, but he just didn't want to do them.
Yeah.
He just wasn't into it,
Right.
and we could tell that he had not found his thing, right?
Hmm.
Um, and he got out of that cart, and the look on his face, I mean, the smile, like his face, like,
It was
was
lit up, wasn't
so,
it?
lit up. It was like ecstatic,
Yeah.
and my husband and I looked at each other. We're like, uh-oh.
Uh-oh, what did we
So
just
we already
do?
talked to someone about buying a cart, and then they
Yeah.
all went from there.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, I remember sending him out. We bought a cart like right away.
Yeah.
The guy that we bought it from knew that we, knew zero,
Yeah.
right? And he helped us, set it up. He had my husband Matt and Cal over to his house, and he helped set up the cart in the garage, because it had been set up for a bigger kid. Um,
Okay.
and Cal's he's a string bean,
Yeah.
he's, 14 years old. He's lucky to weigh 100 pounds of wet,
Okay.
and he's, taller than I am now. But at the time he was only 10, and
Yeah.
so they helped him set it up. We had, like I said, we didn't know what we didn't know, and we sent him out on the track in that cart, and it was frightening.
Yeah.
I mean, because it was, a quick day, like, let's modify this, let's modify that, and we'll send him out and see how it goes. And,
Yeah.
really,
Well, and
we needed many more modifications.
you almost have to do that.
You
Be-
do. You got to start from somewhere.
you can't just sit on the sidelines and say, "Oh well, we'll let him start when this happens or that happens." You have to just put him out there, see how it goes, what needs to be changed, put him back out there, bring him back
And
in,
you know
change
what?
something else.
And you know what? That, I think, is true at any level of racing
I
that you do.
agree. Well, it's kind
Um,
of true about life, isn't it? You can't
it
just sit on
is.
the sidelines and wait till everything's perfect. You got to jump in, and
Yep.
then maybe you have to pivot, or maybe you have to go down a different road. But if you don't get started, nothing ever is ever going to happen. So
That's
there you
right.
go. Yeah.
It's absolutely right. And you got to just, you know, throw yourself in the ring, so to speak, and or into the deep end, and
Yeah.
go from there. And that's what we did. Um, you know, the
So
car.
what's been the hardest thing for you to learn or get a hold of as far as his racing? What's been the most difficult to like overcome?
I would say sponsorship.
Yeah, I figured.
Sponsorship is the toughest one.
Hmm.
So we are a family team, right?
Right.
My son has big dreams,
Yeah.
and as it turns out, he's actually really quite good.
Yeah.
um, he started out. We flat cart. It ended up that nobody else was racing that class. Blah blah blah. So we went and bought another cart,
Hmm.
and so that was a junior sportsman champ cart.
Okay.
Um, and we just kind of got lucky. We got a great cart. We got a great.
Yeah.
He did so well his first year out. And then he aged out of that group. He had to move up. It's like the biggest jump in
Yeah.
karting. And it was a tough year, but it was a good year. And we all learned so much in those first 2 years.
Yeah.
I learned because like I said, we're a small team, we're a family team. And I am actually a very hands-on race mom. Like
Okay, good.
I'm not, just, I don't want to say just standing on the sidelines, watching and taking, because there's a lot to that too, but
Absolutely.
I'm in the pits and I'm scraping tires and I'm
Yeah.
changing, occasionally I change a gear. My husband likes to do all that, right? He doesn't like
Right.
anybody to touch his,
Yeah.
it's his, but,
But the good thing is, if you
I'm
ever had to take him by yourself, you'd be able to help him without your husband.
would to a certain extent. I
Right.
probably need a little bit of help,
Yeah.
but I could to a certain extent. I
Right.
could take him on my own.
Yeah.
Especially if my husband set the cart up first.
Yeah. Well, and here's the
Because
thing.
once you
You and I both know, once you get to the track, if you needed help, there's all kinds of people that would be willing to help you. That's just how it is. The race family helps each other. So they
we
might.
would not be where we are today without a family like that.
Exactly.
We made great friends. My son ended up meeting this other boy. They're like best friends. They both love racing. And that family has helped us out so much over the years. And they wanted us to be competitive with their son,
Sure.
because he was so good that he didn't have a lot of competition,
Mm-hmm.
right? But they saw something in Cal, and they were like, this kid has potential, and so they helped us, and
Right.
you know we finally got to the point where we were beating them this year.
Yeah.
And we're still really good friends because it's a friendly competition. But
Sure.
yes, without that family, we would not be where we are
Yeah.
today.
That's
And
great.
and they are actually helping us move to the next level.
Good.
So in 2025,
Mm-hmm.
this is actually our first announcement, I guess. We are going legend car racing.
Oh, that's a big
Yep,
step, and that's exciting.
it is a big step. It's a very big step. We have the car. We've actually had it for probably 8 months now. We were
Okay.
hoping to get out in it last summer, um, but we ended up chasing a couple of championships, and we got them both. But it
Oh,
did sort of
wow.
take our focus. Yeah, yeah, two in 1 year.
Nice.
But it did kind of take up a lot of focus and a lot of effort.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
we work full-time jobs.
Sure.
Um,
Something's
so
got to pay for the racing, right?
yes, yes. We
Yeah,
do
I
have
get
a
it.
couple of great sponsors,
Good.
who will be going forward with us. And we have this family that I
Yeah.
mentioned who have a lot of racing experience.
Okay.
They have the father and the grandfather have both raced themselves. Various, like one race is a Porsche right now at, what do you call it? Watkins Glen.
Oh,
And I
yeah.
forget where his father-in-law raced, but I know that he has raced cars also,
Okay.
back in his day, kind of thing. um, so yeah, in the last 3 years, we've done every discipline, to make sure that Cal has a variety of skills that he can show up at any track, and be competitive, which is a big thing.
It is.
We have faced probably a lot of naysayers, over
Mm-hmm.
our 3 years, saying, oh, you got to focus at one place. You can't spread yourself so thin.
Yeah.
But, my husband, to his credit, he thinks for himself, and
Right.
he wanted to develop Cal and give him the best opportunities. Um, and, he researched it and he studied and he, watched the successful people.
Mm-hmm.
And, if you are going to compete at a high level, you have to be able to show up at any track and be
Yeah.
competitive,
Well,
you
let's
know?
just take Kyle Larson, for instance. He,
Yeah,
if he only focused on NASCAR, he wouldn't have all the success in all those other areas. And so,
that's right.
you know, I can see where some people think, oh, you have to just concentrate on dirt track or whatever. But
Hmm.
the really, really good racers have raced all kinds of racing,
Yep.
dirt, asphalt,
Yep.
all kinds. And so, at his age, now if he was 6, maybe different, you might do
Hmm.
something different. But he's 14. And so
Yep.
he can handle doing things a little differently and maybe a little bit more about what life throws at him, more so than
Hmm.
if he was 6.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And you have to build that ability in
Oh,
your
yes.
in your kid, whether you're racing or not, right? That's a life skill.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things that racing has really done for Cal. Um, he he has life skills under his belt that other kids his age don't have,
Hmm.
which
Yeah.
sounds weird, but
No, let me tell you,
it's
I,
the
you know,
truth.
I interview a lot of young girls, and
Hmm.
overall, they are much more mature and much more confident
Yep.
than girls their age that have
Hmm.
not raced. Racing
Hmm.
just really, there's adversity. Honestly, you don't win as much as
Yep.
you lose. There's all
Yep.
kinds of life lessons you learn, and not to say other sports don't teach you some of those, but I think you learn that in racing maybe at an earlier age. Um,
Yeah.
and so I hear that a lot, and I notice it when I interview people, especially like the younger girls, how much more mature they are.
Yeah. Yeah. I totally agree with that.
Yeah.
Um, because it is hard. Our second year when we moved up, um, in the cart to the cart levels, we went from basically a kids to teenagers, right? And
Right.
we're in a black plate champ cart now. It's a bigger vehicle. It's got more G forces. It goes
Hmm.
faster, which he's loving.
Yeah.
Um, but he physically it demanded a certain amount of strength,
Yes.
and he wasn't quite there. Um, when you compared him as an 11, 12-year old doing that, um, to basically who we were racing against at the time were 15 and 16-year-olds,
Right.
um, or about to turn 16.
Hmm.
um, and he had a hard time with
Yeah.
going out there and losing. I mean, our second year, it was like we just kept showing up to the track and getting punched in the face, but we go
Yeah.
back and we do it again.
Yeah.
Because every time you go out on that track, something, and
Yeah.
you don't have to win to learn.
No.
You don't have to be the person winning the race to learn. And Cal learned that
Yeah.
year.
That's good.
And, he didn't like it. He wants to go out there and win. He's got a
Sure.
huge competitive streak. I think he
Yeah.
gets that from me, actually. But, it was hard for him. Um,
Yeah.
but man, he did it with grace and style. I'll give him that. He hated losing every week in and
Yeah.
week out, but
And
he
and
learned a
the
lot.
thing is, he didn't give up. And so
And
that's the life lesson right there. Even
yep,
when things are tough, we keep
yep,
going, because if you can get through that period or that season of life,
yep,
we don't know what's going to happen on the other side. And so then you said this last year he did better and better, and so now you can look back and say, "Oh, I had to go through
yep,
that so that I could be here."
exactly. And
Yeah,
he understands that.
yeah,
So we went from a year of, losing every time we went to the track until we did get a win at the very end of the season.
awesome.
Um, and we also were figuring out this cart, right? We had a new
Yeah,
cart. It was different setups, different, but he learned that, that
yeah,
it takes the entire package to come
hmm,
together, and it takes a little bit of luck.
yeah,
And he went from a year of losing to a year of domination, total
yeah,
domination, right? And he was unbeatable, which
yeah.
actually brings a different set of challenges,
It
right?
does.
It is hard to show up at the track every week in and week out, and win, even when you're that good, right?
Yeah.
And
Because stuff happens.
you start getting a lot of people who aren't liking you so much
Yeah.
because,
Yep.
they think you're cheating somehow, or it's like,
Or
no,
you're older than you really are, or all those things.
yeah, all kinds of
Hmm.
stuff like that.
Yeah.
And, I understand it, I do. Um, but, it's just
And
part of being
honestly,
a winner, right?
I don't think it's the kids. It wouldn't be the
It's not the
kids
kids.
if the
Yeah.
parents had a different attitude. I,
Yeah.
Overall, and this is in any sport, because my kids played basketball and all kinds of stuff. It
Hmm.
isn't that it isn't the kid. The kid can be friends, win or lose. The parents are the ones that have the jealousy issues or the
Yep.
that kind of thing. And so,
Because every parent wants to see their kid win. And
sure they
I
do.
understand that. That's why. That's why they
Yeah,
have the issues,
yeah,
We get it. We understand.
yeah.
But
And
yeah,
so Kathy, put yourself in the place of a mom of a girl who's
mm,
beating the boys. It's
yep,
even worse,
it
and
is.
I hear that a lot. And so the fact that, it's happening to Cal, it's in his, you know, case, it's good that he's not a girl because it's worse.
Well, yeah, he did. There was one, I'm not going to say we won every race this year because we didn't,
Yeah.
but there was a second half of the year, a girl started showing up to our track, and you could tell she had some good.
Yeah.
Her cart wasn't quite right, and there was some issue, but then, there was one night where it all magically came together for her,
Hmm.
and she was, how do you say it? She was rightfully aggressive when she
Yeah.
needed to be,
Hmm.
and Cal wasn't ready for her, and she took
Yeah.
advantage of that, and she beat
Yeah.
him, and we were very happy for her. We were
Yeah.
excited for her, because the smile she had when she came off the track was like,
Sure.
you know that, that smile on those kids' faces is what you're there for,
Yeah. It
partly.
is for sure.
Um, but
Yeah.
that was a good night. The only part of that night that I did not like was there were some fans there for her who were like booing, and then of course cheering when she won.
Yeah.
So I'm just like, come on, this is kids. You're
Yeah.
really gonna
I
boo
know.
kids?
I know.
But
But it happens everywhere, and
it does.
it's
And my
sad.
son thought it was great because he was like, yeah, they used to boo Kyle Busch and Kyle
Yeah.
Larson.
There you go. That's a
He
good
could
way to
care
think about it.
less. He's got his own way of thinking, which I
That's all
appreciate.
right. He's right.
Yep,
He's right for
he is
sure.
right. Yep.
Yeah. So what do
But,
you love? You as a mom, what do you love the most about your family being involved in motorsports?
oh gosh, the thing that I really love, I would say I absolutely treasure, is that we are staying close and tight as a family with a teenager.
Yeah.
Um, he is a he has he is growing into a really great kid, a young man, I should say. He's respectful. We all are together all the time, um, and we have a good relationship with our teenager.
Hmm.
I'm not saying, oh, the teenage years, they're so horrible, they're awful,
Right.
because we have, in the last few years, built a relationship and that is based on respect and trust and everybody working hard
Hmm.
towards a common goal,
Right.
right? And this goal is this dream of racing,
Yeah.
and this dream of getting Callan to where he wants to be, right? Which is not, you know, um, it's a little different, than I want to be a doctor or I want to be a
Hmm.
lawyer or whatever. It's a different kind of dream,
Yeah.
and you have to adopt a lifestyle in order to make that dream come true, right?
Absolutely. It is a lifestyle for sure.
Yeah, and I've actually struggled with that lifestyle a little bit. It's not how I grew up. I grew up in a very traditional home.
Yeah.
Um, and,
So
there's things
what
that
are you struggling with?
so they probably seem like silly things to some people, right? But my house is always a mess. All of our money goes into racing. I don't hire house cleaners or,
Hmm.
you know, despite my mother saying, you need a cleaner, you should get, I'm like, I don't have money for a cleaner. That money's got to go to the car.
I got to buy tires.
I got to buy tires. I got,
Yeah.
who knows what else I got to buy. My husband buys
Yeah.
all the stuff. Um, and let me tell you, when you start legend racing, there's a lot of stuff to buy.
There is.
Oh my
Every
gosh,
time you
things
move
like,
up, the expenses move up too.
yeah, I mean, big things too, like jacks and
Yeah.
I don't even know, like, so anyway, but I
You
hate living in a messy house,
But
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 I
here's the
do.
thing. That's temporary. I mean, and that's not anything that, you know, okay, so it's if race season
Life
is
altering. I can live in a
great.
messy house.
Yeah, and you know what? There's a lot of people in this world that live in a messy house that have no excuse. You at least, you're gone. You're busy all the
Yeah,
time with
yep,
racing. So you can't beat yourself up over that because
yeah,
you're not the only one in the world that lives in a messy house. And the other part of that is, I'll bet it's not near as messy as some people would think, but it's messy to you. And so, I
yeah,
look at that as, one day during the off season, we're going to say to husband and son, okay, I give up a lot of time during the year. Let's sort and pitch. Let's do one room at a time and get to where
yep,
at least you're comfortable, you know? Um,
yeah.
there's solutions to it, and
Oh yeah,
and then you're ready for race season with a like kind of a clean mindset. Today is New Year's Day when
exactly.
we're recording this. It's a perfect day to make a plan for not only the
Yep,
race season and where you're going to be racing, but kind of for the balance. I think that's the hardest thing that women deal with, whether it be you're a mom of a racer or you're the driver or you're involved in however you are in racing. As a woman, you have things that you feel responsible for that your
hmm,
husband doesn't necessarily feel responsible for. And that's nothing against him because he probably does things you don't do. But
yes,
I hear that in women, the work life balance is hard. And,
it is.
you still got to cook and clean and laundry and still be ready to
Yep,
go to the track. And so,
yep.
um, I hear that more often than you think, Kathy. And you're in a larger group of people than you thought.
Yeah, I'm
There's
sure. I'm
more of you
sure I
out there
am.
than you think. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
everything you said is so true. There,
yeah,
and you know, I do sometimes struggle with, hey, I'm getting a little bit older and I would like time for this or that.
yeah.
And, I look at my, retirement account and I'm like, I could be putting
Hmm.
more into that, but
Yeah,
hey, I got to go race, a legend car. So yeah, I'll deal with the retirement account tomorrow.
yeah.
You
Well,
just,
and
some
he's
things you got to
14.
block out. Hmm?
Yeah, but he's 14. He's not going to be your responsibility to race forever. Maybe the next 7 years or so. Okay.
Yeah, hopefully less
I
than
mean,
that.
honestly, realistically, till they're
Yeah,
18 or 21. But
yeah.
would you, I guess I would look at it this way. I'm going to ask you a question. In in 10 years from now, and you look back at what your decisions were, do you want to look back and say, I'm glad we spent the time and we did the racing?
Oh,
Or
yeah.
are you going to say, I got a nice pile of money in the 401k, but we didn't do the racing? I mean, it's a choice, right?
It is. It is 100% a choice.
Hmm.
And I absolutely choose racing.
Yeah. I knew you
you
were going to
know,
say that.
and it's hard, right? Because you got all these people like in your ear saying, "Oh, but what are you going to do?" And and it's like,
Yeah.
you know what? I'm not going to worry about it
I'll figure
because
it out.
what we are doing now, yeah, we'll figure it out. And
I'll be a
because
Walmart
what we are
greeter till
doing
I'm
now is
90,
worth every
right?
penny. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
I'll be a
exactly.
Walmart greeter till I'm 90 if I have to. But my kid
Yep,
wants to be a race car driver, and
yep.
it's my choice to help
To
him
support
find.
it.
Yes,
Yeah, yeah,
absolutely.
just yep.
You know,
Because
I don't
you
get to
know,
talk to as many moms maybe as I would really like to. And Kathy, I love that you're willing to share, your struggles in that, because a lot of moms, I'd say most of them have those same struggles, but we don't talk about it.
yeah.
And it's not
Well,
taboo. It's just we don't talk about it.
yeah. I guess we don't. Like I don't talk about it with any moms at the track,
Yeah.
and I don't, it's funny because when you're at the track and you know, I guess and it might be, I don't know. I honestly don't know. But my experiences at the track, there are a couple of moms that I have talked with and gotten to know.
Mm-hmm.
But I talk more with the husbands than I
Mm-hmm.
do the moms, and it's probably because I'm a mom who's in the pit helping,
Yeah.
right? A lot of
Yeah.
the moms are staying away from the pit, and I don't,
Right.
that's how their team functions. It's not a judgment. Every
Right.
team has figured out the right way for them to function,
Well,
and
everybody has a role, and so
yeah,
that mom's
and we
role is to do whatever it is. But yeah.
exactly, and my role is I help in the pits.
Mm-hmm.
I get all the, I do all the safety equipment checks,
Mm-hmm.
so everything, from helmet to arm restraints, right?
Yeah.
And
Mm-hmm.
bolts on the cart. I'm the last one to check all the bolts on the cart, which I feel is like a huge responsibility because if
Yes,
a
it
bolt comes
is.
out,
Absolutely.
I think I lost you for a second. If a bolt comes out, who are they going to look at? It's going to be
Yeah.
me because,
Yeah.
you know, I'm the one that was supposed to check that bolt to make sure it
Mm-hmm.
was tight, right?
Right.
So, all that whole range of things. And then there's also, make sure you got lunches and snacks packed and drinks
Yeah.
and, you got ice for the cooler and all that,
Mm-hmm.
or if we are buying from the food truck that day, you know, at least in New York, they mostly have food trucks at the
Yeah.
I'm the one who's running over there to get
Right.
lunch, bring it back so while work is going on,
Yeah.
and I talk to Cal as well, both race day and non-race days, just mental
Yeah.
um, um,
Encouragement.
encouragement and, assessing where he's at, how is he feeling, build him up.
Yeah.
And what, give him a shot in the arm too when he needs it, because sometimes they need that,
Sure.
Um, and
Yeah.
with a teenager who can be kind of all over the place all at
Oh yeah.
once, emotionally, it's a lot of wrangling and a lot of,
Mm-hmm.
but he's really a very stable kid that way. He's very focused. He knows exactly what he wants when he goes to the track,
Yeah.
and he's working on it. He's working towards it. He's doing everything he needs to do. So
That's
there
awesome.
isn't, too much wrangling that I have to do.
Yeah.
But they come off the track, something went wrong, and they're really upset, right?
Or something
But
broke, or somebody ran into him. Any of those kind of things, and you have to be the one that makes it
yeah,
okay. You have to kiss the
yeah,
hurt.
yep,
Make the boo boo
yeah. I
all
guess the
better,
hurt,
right?
but but you also gotta build them up and be,
Yeah.
and say, okay, I know that was hard. I know that was not fair. Calls don't always go your way,
Mm-hmm.
but you need to get back out there and show them, that you are the rightful one to
Yeah.
win, or you earn this win. You get back out there and you show them how it's done, and,
Yeah.
and he does, you
That's
know,
awesome.
um,
So, Kathy, do
and
you use social media to promote Cal's racing?
We do. We have a Facebook page. Thank you for asking.
Okay. And what is that
Facebook
called?
and Instagram, Cal Anderson Racing.
Okay.
Um, and we've got, I don't know, we don't have a ton of followers. We're trying, right? We're trying to
Yeah.
build it. Um, but we post regularly and we interact regularly with our,
Okay.
the folks that, are on the page.
Yeah.
We have a few really great people who are always encouraging Cal on there. And, I expect that this coming year, our page will grow a lot.
Yeah.
I do most of the posts. Uh, I do get my husband's input on some of them.
Okay.
I value his opinion, right? So I'm always asking, what do you think about doing this or that? And he's always coming up with ideas too. Hey, what if we did this on Facebook or that?
Yeah.
He's a great ideas guy, my husband. He's full of
That's good.
ideas. Yeah. And,
Yeah.
executing them is a whole nother thing, right? I mean, he's got
Yeah.
more ideas than we can actually execute, but he's
Yeah.
got great ideas.
But
And I try.
all in due time. You don't have to do everything the first day. And so keep track of those ideas, write them down, and then,
Yep. Yep.
on a day when you're kind of stuck with what am I going to post about today or how am I going to spin it, then you've
Yeah.
got those ideas. So that's good.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
that's really important. For example, we're in the off season now, right? And it's
Uh-huh.
like, okay, what are we going to post about? What are we going to do? I mean, we do go indoor kart racing during the winter. There's a place we go just to, it's to keep skills sharp. And, we have found personally that road course racing really builds Cal's vision. And
Oh, yeah.
it has helped him avoid a lot of wrecks.
Oh, that's good.
And yeah, he has great reflexes. He can tell what's going to happen down the track before it's happening.
Yeah.
And he's really good that way. And we think that, all of the road course work that we've done with him has really paid off for that.
Yeah, I
And
would think
he's
so.
done it all,
Yeah.
champ kart, black kart, dirt, road course. He makes good decisions. He takes care of his equipment. He
Mm-hmm.
helps out in the garage. He's earned the right to move up. So,
Yeah. Well,
we're
that's
excited
great.
for this year. Yeah, we're really
So
excited. And we're going to be all over the East Coast, I think.
that's what I was just going to ask you. Where are you going to be racing? Do you race at one place? And I know that you race all over the place. So kind of mostly the east side of the country.
Yes.
Okay.
We're mostly East Coast. We
Okay.
have never ventured, into the Midwest or the
Okay.
South.
Yeah.
But this year we are starting out down south. We're going to be doing some practice in February with probably a little bit of coaching.
Uh-huh.
Just get him. So I drive a stick shift, and I've already taught him how to drive my car. And
Okay.
he does the iRacing with the stick shifts. He can drive a stick, but a legend car is a
Okay.
motorcycle engine with motorcycle gearing,
Yeah.
which is very different. So we're gonna get some good
And then where
practice
are you going to
in.
go? Are you going to like Florida and practice? And where are you going to do that at?
Well, we are right now. We're looking at a couple of places to try. So there's Wake County
Okay.
Speedway,
Uh-huh.
and Dominion Raceway.
Okay.
So two very different kinds of tracks, right? So Wake
Mm-hmm.
County is, it's kind of it's a bull ring, right? And we
Yeah.
have a good
Right.
amount of experience racing bull rings, and a good, could be a good place to
Okay.
learn. Dominion also, it has an oval, but it also has a road course, and
Oh,
Cal
yeah.
loves them both equally. I think he might lean towards oval a little more, but I personally think he's actually a little bit better on the road course. But we'll see. But those are the two we're looking at, and to just get our feet wet. and learn, you know. I
Yeah.
mean, Matt and I have so much to learn about,
Yeah.
you
That's
know, what do
seat
these
time.
race days go like?
It's all about the seat time. Yeah.
All about seat time. Yeah.
Get him down there, get him in the seat and go for
Hmm.
it. So
Yep.
then he's more comfortable when it's time to really race. Yeah,
Right.
for sure.
And Matt and I will be too, right? Because we have a
Yeah.
lot to learn. Like
Mhm.
I need to learn, you know, being in charge of the safety stuff,
Yeah.
equipment, and I need to learn, you know, like, okay,
Yeah.
how do the seatbelts go? You know, we had to find out, does he even need armor strengths in the legend car? You know, I mean,
Yeah.
once again,
It's
we're
different.
starting from zero, right?
You are, but you know what? I love that you had no knowledge, but you were willing to just put yourself out there and say, "Hey, I don't know what I'm doing. I need help." And he's been successful. He's grown, and same is going to happen now with legend cars, and you're going to grow and along with him. Those are
Yep.
the things you're going to take away when you're done with racing or he's out on his own, and
Hmm.
you can nobody can ever take that away from you, and it's
Yeah,
priceless.
it is. And
Yeah.
that's why I don't care about my
Yeah.
401k.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go.
But,
I mean,
but
let's not say we don't care. We do care, but
yeah, yeah.
right
But
now, and I love that. I have a friend who uses this kind of language when somebody says, "Well, why don't you buy a new boat or why don't you do this?" And he'll say, "I choose to spend my money in other ways."
that's right. Yeah.
And so
I've
when
heard
somebody
that too.
says, "Why are you this or that?" you can say, "I choose to spend my money in other ways." And it's really nobody's business. I know they care. It's because they care, but
Yeah, they're only
you
saying
have to
it
do
because
what's
they
best
care.
for
But
you and your son. So,
yeah.
well, Kathy, I
Yes. And
really appreciate you being on with me today and taking time to do this. Is there anything that we haven't talked about that you want to share?
um I can think of. Um,
Okay.
you know, I would
We've
just sum
covered
it
a
up
lot
like
in a short amount of time.
we did. I would just
Go
sum it
ahead.
up, you know, that you know, it's a lifestyle. It can be very stressful. Tempers can flare, you know, people can, but you know, you just like life, you know, it's full of low moments and full of high moments. And but it's the entire journey, you know, and you're
Hmm.
doing it together. And you know, in an era where you know parents don't even know what their kids are doing or don't know, we are so thankful that
Yeah.
you know our friend like put that race on
True.
TV on that Thanksgiving day because it has led us
Yeah.
to an entire way of life that we never would have dreamed of, you know. And we, you know, we're in
Right.
it for the long haul.
Does he know that? Have you ever told him that?
Oh, he knows. He's a
Have you
fan.
ever shared that
He,
with him? Oh, he knows.
oh yes, they know.
Okay, good.
And
Good.
they follow Cal, and I expect they live
Good.
down in Florida now, but I expect when we're in
Yeah.
North Carolina that we'll be seeing them soon. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's great. Well, Kathy, I hope you have a very successful and memorable 2025 with Cal. I'd love
Thank
to,
you.
keep track with you. So, um, anytime if you want to post and I know it's a guy racing, but if you tag Women's Motorsports Network, then it's easier for me to follow Cal and what he's doing. And
Sure.
so, just tag me, and then I can kind of keep track of him and you. And when I meet somebody through, we're using StreamYard, which is like Zoom. We haven't met in
Hmm.
person, but I feel like now I know who you are and I know you better. And so now I've
Hmm.
made a friend. And,
Yeah.
I used to always say, Women's Motorsports Network is like a family. And now that we've had this chance to connect and talk, you're part of the family. So welcome to the family.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. You know, I think Cal and my husband
You're
Matt
welcome.
met you. I wasn't there, but they were at the IROC race at Lime Rock. and my husband came home that day and said, "Hey, we met a really interesting
Um,
lady who was not you."
hmm,
It was just this past
maybe
summer.
that
Yeah.
could be. I meet so many people that I can't keep track
Oh, I'm sure.
of all
Yeah,
of
you
them.
wouldn't remember them, but
So,
they remember you.
yeah,
You know, when this
that's
came up,
cool.
it was like, yeah.
Well, that's
Yeah.
very cool.
But
I
thank
appreciate
you.
that.
I enjoy being
Well,
in the family, and we will
yeah.
definitely tag you in our posts. Thank you
All
for
right.
that.
So hang on after I stop the recording. I've got a couple questions for you, and then we'll move
Sure.
on. So thanks for being with me today.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.